Hello, today we want to talk to you about CARS, which stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. These are not just another exercise, they offer some really key benefits that most traditional fitness exercises don't. So we want to make sure you fully understand what those are and how to get the most out of them when you do them. So we've all heard that expression, use it or lose it. Nowhere else in the world does this apply as specifically as with the body and human movement. Essentially, any movement that you don't regularly use, your body stops maintaining that pathway because it's expensive to maintain movement pathways, and your body is a creature of efficiency. So if you're not doing something, it's like, oh great, she doesn't go down that road, I don't need to maintain that road. So most exercises that you'd pull off the fitness shelf, let's take a push-up for example, talking about the shoulder. If I just have Will do like a mock push-up, he's using his shoulder joint in the same pathway over and over and over, right? Now, with controlled articular rotations, or CARS for the shoulder, just do a quick one here, Will. He's now taking his shoulder joint through the full range of options that the human shoulder can possibly do, or rather that his human shoulder can possibly do. So every rep he does, he's communicating to his body, I want all of these options maintained, and I want you to know about them and understand how to use them. So even though a push-up will use a lot of the muscles connected to the shoulder, it's not necessarily helping your body maintain the ability to use and access with strength all of the various positions of the shoulder. So even if you're being diligent about doing your push-ups, what happens the next time you put your suitcase in the overhead bin, or you go to reach for something in the back seat of the car? Your body doesn't know how to control those ranges of motion, which leaves us pretty vulnerable to injury there, worst case scenario. The other key component with CARS, the big benefit that they offer, is that they help you literally feed your connective tissues. So your muscles have veins and capillaries running through them, which means that as long as your heart is pumping, those tissues are getting fed and replenished so that they can regenerate at a cellular level. This is not so for your connective tissue. So think about ligaments, tendons, the capsular tissue of the hip and shoulder. These tissues rely on movement to drive nutrition into those tissues at a cellular level. So we must move each of our joints through its full range of motion every day in order to ensure that we're delivering that much needed nutrition to those tissues and keeping them strong for our uses over time. One more key benefit to CARS is that you are, with every rep, teaching your brain or your nervous system about what your shoulder is capable of, all of the things that it's capable of. So you'll see us use them in class, both at the beginning to warm up the general tissue area and start that conversation, and also at the end of a segment of end range training, so that we can essentially save and upload the changes that we've made in that particular class or that particular session. So we'll do a little example together, and then we'll talk about 3 key components of how you can get the most out of your each and every CAR. So follow along with Will here. You're just gonna, you can stand, don't have to tall kneel. You're gonna straighten one arm, and then you're gonna start to draw a big circle with that shoulder, trying not to get anything else involved. Once you arrive at your hip, go ahead and go back the way you came. Beautiful. So, a couple of things to keep in mind. As you do your CARS, you want to control your cadence. You'll often hear us say move 1 mile per hour, or imagine you're carving through denser air. This is because the more tension or muscular engagement you're moving with, the more clear that communicative signal is happening between your tissues, your joint, and your nervous system. It also ensures that you're going to fill in any potential gaps that might be there more quickly and more readily. So if you tend to always kind of zip through one piece, you're not really learning about that piece. It needs to be slow and controlled. The other big factor is that when you're doing shoulder, for example, we don't want any other parts of the body to contribute. The CARs are a really great way to help each joint understand its own job better without tagging in other parts. So we'll want a little bit of tension through the non-moving parts so that when you go to move that shoulder, you're only moving your shoulder and nothing else is contributing. And then the last thing to keep in mind always is that we want to move through our pain-free range of motion. So the largest circle you can make that doesn't involve any pinch or pain. So let's do one more of the shoulder CAR together and keep those things in mind. So this time I'll give you a few extra cues. So standing or kneeling as you're comfortable, take a moment to brace some tension through your midsection like you're getting ready for a playful karate chop to the belly. Put some tension in your working arm, so think about squeezing those muscles. You can squeeze your other fist to bring some tension there, and then start to bring your arm across your body, carve up towards your ear, feeling for where do I feel a stretch. Start to rotate and reach behind you, keeping your t-shirt logo facing straight ahead. How far behind you can you reach? Getting close to that hip. And then rewind, reach back, feeling for the edges of what your shoulder can do. Coming all the way back and across to the front. Nice. So keep in mind your range of motion might look different than Will's, might look different than someone you're practicing with. The important thing is that you are regularly exploring all of your options to communicate to your body that those ranges of motion are important to you, to feed those tissues and make sure they're getting the nutrition that they need to be able to maintain themselves, and to teach your body about all of the options that it's capable of. For this reason, it's really important to do these exercises every single day. Just a couple of reps each one. That's the amount of signal that it's going to need to actually get those benefits that you're hoping to get. So have fun practicing your CARs. We've got a CARs video that takes you through every single CAR for each joint in the body in the library.